Same-sex love, show up a little bit. When I was 17, I liked a male classmate. Before, my relationship with him was like many normal male students, as friends, as brothers. His English is not good, I urge him to learn vocabulary every day. My math is not good, he often shows me how to solve problems. Gradually, I discovered that I depended more and more on him. Confess it to him. This thought is like a seed, taking root in my heart. I know he likes girls. When he's with me, he often talks about lewd things. At times when it comes to excitement, he is cheerful and cheerful, gesturing with his arms and legs, just like a child. As for me, I always pretend to cooperate with him. Actually, confessing to him, I didn't think I would get any reaction. It's just, I want to tell him, I like you, that's all. In the end, I still chose to confess. Texted him to confess, but he didn't reply. Maybe it's because of guilt. When I met him in school, I always felt like I did something wrong to him. About a week later, my sexual orientation gradually became a topic of discussion in school. When people started talking about it, I had no idea. Only when a friend said to me, "So you like guys, no wonder you like to put your arms around me." His words, half joking, half truth. It is true that I like to put his arm around him, although I know that, for a boy, this is a bad habit. But I didn't like him at all. He's just a good friend to me. He wanted to explain a bit, but he left with a disgusted look, leaving a sentence, "You are disgusting." After that, my sexual orientation became a public secret. The friends next to me gradually shunned, even rejected me. At first, I took the initiative to please and make peace with them. Once, I met a few friends who played very well in the cafeteria before. They were talking and laughing while eating. I took the initiative to walk over, just sat down, everyone stopped the conversation without an appointment. The air was filled with embarrassment. I remember a friend who likes to eat ribs, because to break the awkwardness right now, he picked up a piece of ribs and put it in his food tray. I just put down my chopsticks. He excitedly threw the whole tray of rice and asked, loudly, "What are you doing?" The ribs fell on the table. Because of his excitement, his spoon also fell to the ground. "You unlucky thing, who wants to eat your food?" As he packed up his things, he stood up and prepared to leave. In just a few short minutes, the dining table was originally filled with 4 or 5 people, and in the end it was just me. Do you know what I was thinking at the time? What a waste. The ribs the aunties at the canteen make are obviously delicious. I looked at the rib lying alone on the dining table, tears silently falling. Finally, my parents know about it. Parents don't seem to be receptive to this truth. Once, a patriarch and father talked about my story. My father pretended to be comfortable and said, "Children don't understand, they are all just playing loudly." Last year, he was in love with a child. Baby again. But, I have never had a girlfriend before. Why does Dad have to make up such a thing? I didn't dare ask my father, but he got angry first. "I've lost my face by you, so if you dare to do this kind of thing again in the future, don't claim to be my son." After that, Dad became more and more interested in me. Every day at meals he asked, "How's today?" I know, he's asking me, "Do you still like boys today?" But, can this change overnight? I didn't say anything. Dad got even more angry, threw chopsticks in my face, scolded, "Aren't you ashamed?" I later discovered that, just fooling my father, I like girls. Dad would happily nod. One day, Dad suddenly asked me, "Can homosexuality be cured? Do you want to be treated?" I've heard before that, treating homosexuality requires electrocution, which is very painful, very scary. But I didn't expect that my father could have such thoughts. But at that moment, I suddenly thought, go get treatment, it's still better than staying at home. In the end, my gay treatment didn't go as planned. Because my mother kept crying, she said, "He's my baby, I can't let him suffer this sin. Give him some time, he's still small now, he'll get better later." This will get better. Because of my sexual orientation, my parents' relationship deteriorated markedly. My father always blamed my mother for giving birth to an unusual son. She cried all day, saying it would be better in the future. But, will it really get better in the future? I am becoming more and more sensitive. Once at school, when I saw some of my classmates talking and laughing, I saw them all as if they were talking about me. Sometimes when you actively talk to me, I feel very grateful. Later, the situation became even more serious. At night, I always find it difficult to sleep. My eyes are wide open. I look up at the ceiling, thinking blankly, how long will these days continue? What's the point of living like this? Even going to school during the day, I can't help but burst into tears. During that time, I always found that I was living in a very noisy world. People were passing by, but I had no relationship with anyone. After that, I took a year off from school. It was my mother who found out what happened to me, madly asking my father if he wanted to force his son to die before being satisfied? My dad doesn't think so. In his eyes, I'm just pretending to be miserable and want to hide from reality. The first day I missed school, I received a letter on his WeChat. The boy I once confessed to. He said, "Sorry sir, I didn't mean to bring your story out, I just told one person, asked people how to do it, and later on it became like that. I just wanted to say sorry to you, please don't blame me." I write a long paragraph in the dialogue box. I often think, if I didn't confess to you that day, wouldn't my life turn into this? Maybe, you and I are still friends, I won't be rejected at school, and there won't be any pressure at home, you know? I've thought many times, it's better to just live like this, it's better to just leave. Maybe death is also a kind of release. If I died, would you? If I could, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing for me to die. Don't be afraid, I don't like you anymore. But there's no way I can forgive you, at all. I can't do it in this life. After writing that paragraph, I cried without voice, as if all the suppressed emotions were released. It's just, I didn't send those words to him. I didn't even reply to the message, quietly blocked him. There are words, once said, will no longer mean anything, just like there are things, which cannot be undone. Now, I have graduated from university. After graduating, I did not stay in my hometown, but moved to another developed city. This city is very tolerant. Sometimes on the main road you can see two boys holding hands, no one is surprised, and no one discriminates against them. Everything seems so natural. It's just that, after the age of 17, I never loved anyone anymore. Some time ago, the news that gay people were allowed to marry in Taiwan was widely shared online. This means that Taiwan has become the first region to have a law protecting same-sex marriage. On May 17th, the International Day Against Homophobia, many people stood up to speak out, some men, some women, homosexuals and heterosexuals. They all believe that love has nothing to do with gender. So same-sex love, please don't be afraid. You can totally be a little braver.